Hello everyone and welcome back. You're here with the Lone Wolf. If you're anything like me, you grew up in the late 90s, early 2000s. And I would still refer to myself as a hardcore video gamer, even though I haven't really played in the last 6 months, right? Too busy with adult problems, work. But growing up, I played all of the top games back in the late 90s, early 2000s, when Grand Theft Auto came out. The third one, open world, Metal Gear Solid, Devil May Cry, all of the big AAA titles, and some titles that were less well known but difficult. The type of gamer I would describe myself as is one that really tries to get every ounce out of the game, get all the achievements, all the trophies, do all of the hardest stuff that there is to offer, and really get sort of my money's worth and get every last bit of enjoyment out of the game. And I've done that my entire life. Since I was like 4, when I had Sonic the Hedgehog, 4 years old. And gaming was a big sort of, release. I can't really justify it now because I need to put every ounce of time and energy I have into business things. But, gaming was a big deal and still continues to be a big deal. Like the titles that come out today, AAA titles cost hundreds of millions of dollars to make. They rival the biggest films that are available. In fact, I would say that games now for a long time, actually, the last maybe 15, 20 years, have actually surpassed films as a medium in terms of immersion, writing, and everything else. Graphics, gameplay, etc. What I haven't appreciated, though, is this shift towards, a more so-called politically correct or woke agenda within the storytelling and the writing side of the games. And also the fact that, and this isn't, I don't mean to gatekeep the genre or the discipline, but when I was a kid, the games were there wasn't any of this political garbage. And it's kind of like the comic book genre, right? I wasn't really into that. I have friends who were into that when they were kids. You had to be a complete nerd. And as a person back then, where there were these classifications where it wasn't trendy to be a nerd, you were ostracized, man. Absolutely ostracized. In the early years of certainly school, there was groups of people who were known as the nerds, and I'm sure most of you listening to this can sort of relate to that. It's only in the last 10 or 15 years that we've seen the whole gaming space become public ownership, almost. And with that, we've had a lot of undesirable things come about. As an adult, if you said to potential dates, oh yeah, I'm a video gamer, it's still a big turn-off, right? But we have seen a lot more women come into the space, which I'm not necessarily against at all. I think it's fine. What I am against is women using these, nerds who are just socially awkward as piggy banks to siphon money off. They basically use them as ATMs, right? And I don't blame the women for doing it. I blame the men. Something has happened to men where they feel that they have to donate money to these scantily clad women on Twitch in flagrant violation of the terms of use of Twitch, and Twitch does nothing about it. And they just give them money for playing for not even playing games well. Oftentimes, I'm not going to say that there aren't any good players out there. Female players, it would be ridiculous to say that. But oftentimes they're not even playing games. They've sort of hijacked the, male space, the nerd space, where you're just going to geek out on games and sci-fi culture and everything else, and turn it into your own little business enterprise where you're just siphoning money off. And again, just to reiterate, I don't blame the women for doing it. It's low-hanging fruit. If you're good looking and you build a business around it. And I'm going to look at 2 articles on this that I've come across. And I've just been trying to articulate my thoughts on the topic, right? You look at these guys who just don't help themselves whatsoever. We look at this first article. Men's reasons for simping over streamers will leave you depressed. From the streamer's perspective, simps allow them to build a massive community of loyal fans who are willing to defend them through thick and thin. On the other hand, certain simp fans have also spoken out to explain their actions. I don't see how they live with themselves. It's embarrassing. Recently, YouTube channel Radio TTS posted a video titled Actual Simps Speak Out, Ask Viewers. In the video, we see a few simps explain their reasons for, well, simping at random female streamers. Most of these fans cited reasons such as loneliness and their friends for simping on streamers like Pokimane and Amaranth. That's nauseating, man. Like, take up a martial art, man. Go to the gym. There's an app called Meetup where you can actually get into different kinds of topical groups that have socials. I mean, I know it's been difficult because of the situation globally, right? But go out into the world and actually get involved in clubs and things and build real life human relationships instead of donating money to these morons online, instead of enabling this garbage, right? You're doing yourself no favors. So this fella says, I'm a simp because I'm lonely. I haven't had much in my life. I'm 24 years old, and you're throwing scarce resources, money, at these idiots. I'm 24 and I have to work 2 jobs to take care of myself. That means I don't have any time for family or friends, which doesn't matter anyway because I have no family who cares about me or friends, period. Get some. My brother, 2 twin sisters, don't give an F about me. They haven't spoken to me in years. Plus my mother is no longer around and so is my dad. I have no one to talk to and get comfort from other than what misogynistic men like to call ethos. I've donated at least $700 a month to Pokimane back in early 2020 before Trump's disease spread. As seen in these pictures, the fan talked about the plethora of donations he has made to female streamers and said that being lonely was the primary reason. He also lashed out at other men who think simping is problematic and noted that it is none of their business what he does with his money. No, I suppose it isn't any of my business what you do with your money. You do exactly what you want with your money, but you are contributing to the downfall of Western society, like it or not. I've donated an easy $500 to Amaranth, and I'm going to donate more now after I've seen her content on YouTube. Wow, what a body she has. Simp. There's more women I've donated to in the past 2 years, but my overall point is these women bring me comfort in that they care about me. They ask me if I'm okay. They smile when they see me in the chat. They love it when I compliment them. Personally, I think the men who mock simps are fake alpha men who are jealous I have money to spend. How about instead of caring about what I do with my money or what women online do to get money from others, how about you do something to contribute to society and F off? Well, they are paying their taxes, most of them, I suspect. I mean, if you donated, these people donating $500 to $700 to these streamers, mate, that's like 2 sessions with a professional who would sit and listen to your BS for an hour. Like, just do it that way instead of paying money through a screen. Garbage. Others explained their personal situations and said that various events ended up making them question their self-worth. This in turn led them to make some terrible decisions. The overall video explains that while simping is often criticised and is one of the main sources of criticism at most of the above streamers, there is another side to the story. Not a simp currently, but I was. I came from a single mother household where she raised me to believe that women and girls were almost like majestic creatures that can do no wrong and need to be taken care of. This put the mindset in me that a simp has. Simping causes you to obsess over a person you like, and obsessing is a dangerous thing. You expect perfection and will ignore their flaws when they show up. You do stupid things and lose your self-worth and think you're in love with someone who you've either never met or barely even knows about you. And when you meet them and what you expected isn't them, you're left in a state of confusion and self-hatred. These individuals are people who have various issues that they are dealing with, but instead of taking the time out to try and connect with real-life people who might care about them, they begin looking at notable, attractive streamers who often do not even know about their existence. They don't even care. They don't care either. So, avoid. Ex-simp here. Because I never had a relationship and have little to no self-esteem, when I donated to a woman online, it feels like a connection between us. I imagined them as my girlfriend and it made me feel better. I know you will call it adult work, but I don't want bedroom fun, just a meaningful relationship with a woman. I think that the feeling to not be able to find your soulmate despite the vast choices of today's dating market is a feeling that touches a lot of people in our individualized society. We go to our work or study, go home, eat, watch Netflix or play video games before finally sleep and do the process again and again. It's the feeling of alienation and the loneliness which make me into a simp. I had a few friends I can trust. I know them for more than 12 years, but I never get the intimacy of a romantic relationship. When I was simping, I didn't give a lot of money. I was and still am broke. There was girls I followed who didn't get a penny from me, but I gave them a lot of my free time. You're not working hard enough. That's my assumption there. You're absolutely not working. If you've got time to worry about that garbage, you are not working enough. Get a second job. Start pulling in some cash, invest the cash, and build your life. Build a network, build assets, and start to think about stuff for you, as in traveling, taking up, new skills, new hobbies, new pastimes, martial arts, fitness, all of these important things that we associate with adulthood and, tradition. I guess you could call them traditionally masculine pursuits. Not using every spare dollar to pump into some, agreeably attractive moron online. And again, they have identified a market there that is ripe for exploitation. And these guys are just happy to hand it over. It's lunacy to me. It's stupid. The video also painted a picture of regret, as most simps explained that it was just a phase in their lives and a lack of proper relationships and self-esteem that led them down that path. It appears as though female streamers certainly cannot be blamed for this phenomena, though it also brings out another issue. There are other factors at play that emerge from certain real-life problems that individuals might be facing. Mental health and depression are issues that have been covered at length, and it seems that these fans who take to simping too are going through difficult times. Perhaps if they had access to some kind of guidance or someone to talk to and relay their feelings, this whole trend may see a gradual decrease. Furthermore, most fans said that simping was merely part of a temporary phase of their lives, and the streamers helped them feel better about their lives. I tell you what, message my channel. Message my channel, and I'll set you straight. Donating money to these idiots. It's not just me that's criticised this whole phenomenon. Other people in the space and actual streamers have shredded this whole practice, right? Got another article here. Twitch streamer Anarf hammered home a point about simping and treating women differently because they're women during a March 15 broadcast last year, playing Diablo 3 when her chat started joking about how all women are queens, something that Anarf disagreed profusely with, and she's correct. Women don't need to be praised based on the fact that we're women, she explained. Just treat women like you treat men, respect them. Then turned her attention to the concept of simping. Simps are basically men who overvalue women and do or say things they may not agree with because they believe a woman would want them to. I dislike this odd need to put women on a pedestal. I think it creates really bad mentalities in women, and women start becoming C's because they're so entitled, because men treat them differently. Stop treating women differently. Concur. She's a B. Treat her like a B. She's a good person. Treat her like a good person. Stop making a big deal over women being women. It's pathetic and it only makes us worse as people. To Anarf, women are become entitled because simps treat them like queens for no reason other than the fact that they're women. She becomes under the impression that it's normal. When it doesn't become normal for her, she's pissed off, and then you guys are pissed off because she's acting entitled. Basically, the moral and point Anarf was getting at was for men to stop treating women differently so that they'll stop thinking they're special. According to the streamer, the men who treat women differently are responsible for certain entitled attitudes. Yeah, man, it's enabling behaviour. Anarf isn't the first personality to rally against so-called simps. PewDiePie jokingly called out viewers who donated to streamers such as Pokimane and Bad Bunny. Meanwhile, rising streamer and TikToker Nico claimed there was nothing wrong with simping and worshipping girls. Simping isn't bad, simping is king. Ish, she said in a viral. Yeah, because she stands to benefit from it, right? Yeah, you're not going to call out simping if you're getting checks into your bank account every month. It would seem like there are many different opinions on the topic, and this debate isn't going to end anytime soon. And the world and the culture is a worse place for it. Okay? How many people are on Twitch right now, like gamers that are killing it? They're putting down some insane footage. You know, they might be playing games from like early 2000s, mid 2000s. Really difficult games, you know, doing like no hit runs, no death runs, insane skills. They've got no viewership. Very few of them will have, you know, a shred of viewership. And, you know, it just seems like all you have to do, it's like with Instagram, right? All you have to do is wear skimpy clothing and talk garbage, and you will then have a legion of people, just mainly men, following you, handing over money for nothing. And it's just, it just illustrates what society values. I mean, and yeah, you know, society is going to value beauty, and it always has valued beauty. These women basically have identified this market and they're exploiting it, and they know that their time frame is limited. You know, by the time they get to 30, 35, they're not going to be able to pull in as much cash as they are in their early 20s, late teens. So you can't blame them, right? You can't blame them. Who I do blame profusely is the men that do this. They enable this behavior. And it's got to stop, man. It really has got to stop. And people need to call it out. It's doing Western men no good at all. I'm interested to hear what you think of that rant, your views on the topic. And as always, I'd like to thank you for tuning in to this episode. And I'll see you in the next video.